those who give me this opportunity to conduct here these training sessions. So before we start these sessions, I would like to say something about these professions from which we are belonging. So as we all are know that we all are a teacher here, and I would like to tell you that teaching is one of the noblest professions in the world. The kinds and the level of satisfactions we are getting here in these professions, I want to assure you that this level of satisfactions you can never get from anywhere else in any other professions. Second things, the significance of these teaching professions, we can understand that teaching is considered as the mother of every professions, just because of the fact that no other professions is possible without teaching, right? And as we all know that teaching is one of the learnable skills, right? Once we talk about the skills are the two types. One is learnable, and second is a natural. So the natural skills, which is termed as the talent, right? A natural talent, and the learnable skills, of course, the things that we can learn. So, in order to become a good teacher, effective teacher, we need to add some skills in ourselves. So, in this way, the CBSE has conducted a few of the sessions, and few sessions have already conducted here, on the topics of like stress management or anger management. So, today I am here, and we are here just to continue that series. And we are just trying to continue that series of our discussions. And today I am here to discuss about the classroom management and the effective teaching skills, right? So before start this topic, first of all, I would like to tell you that to just think about the situations, right? We all are teachers, and we all are taking the class, right? So before entering in the topic, I would like to give you just imagine the situations where a class is going on, teachers are inside the class, classes are full of, class strength is 35, right? And when we see the class, I would like to give you the demonstrations of the class, that one side of the corner, few students are talking, like 4 or 5 students are talking to each other. Another side of the class, that 2-3 students are, playing with each other. Another side of the class, we just have to imagine these situations, right? That they are just fighting with each other. And on the same time, you will see that teachers are teaching over there. They are explaining their chapters to the student. Then after these observations, how we will conclude about that class? What we can compliment, we can give about those class? It means that we can say that classroom management was not proper from that teachers, and that is why those kinds of demonstrations could be appear there. So today we are going to discuss few of the topics and few of the skills. If we add in our teachings, it could be reflects our personality as good as possible, and our teachings can be more effective. So that is all about the classroom. So first of all, we talk about that what is a classroom management? What does this word refers to? So when we are talking about the classroom management, it means that a group of the students, comes together. They study under the guidance of the teacher, and of course, when the teachers entered in the class, they are having just their lesson plans. They are having some plan. They execute that plans, and in the last, they evaluate their productivity that has given in the class, right? So this is all about the classroom management. Now, that was the first part, that we have seen here. Now, another part we are going to see that how we will, what skills we have to add to make our teaching skills effective. So there are few of the topics, few of the points on which if we will work, of course, as I said you that our teaching methodology could be reflect in a good way, right? So the first things on which we need to be work is of course command over the subject, right? So as we all are know that every teachers have got their specific subject, right? And they are having the less syllabus, right? Every teacher has not to teach every subject. They are getting the subject as per their choice while the time of an interview only, right? So they are getting the subjects as per their choice only. They do not have to teach everything there in the class. They know that what they have to teach in the very next class. So that is why this is the first principle to become a good teacher, that you must have the command over the subject that you are going to teach in the class. Now there are more significance of this command over the subject. You just have to think about and imagine about the situations where you are not having the command on your subject. Then what will happen? What can be the situations? Then only we can understand the significance of command over the subject. You will enter in the class, the topics that you have to be interpreted there before the students. So you will read there, you trying to understand there. Why? Just because you are not having a command on that. And when you try to understand on that time, what will a student do? Because once you entered in the class, entire students, they look up to you. So that is why it's very necessities for us that we must have the appropriate kinds of a command on our subject so that we can deliver our class as the way we want. We should be satisfied, our students should be satisfied. So that was the first thing that I would like to address here. Thereafter, the second things on which we need to be work is command over the language. So of course, this is language. When we are talking about the language is the one of the medium by which we communicate with the others. So of course, when we are talking about the word language, especially in our teachings, so the first thing that we need to focus, that being a teacher, our language should be civilized, right? We must use the civilized language with the students. And when we are talking about the civilized language, it means not that we will talk, that does not matter whether we talk in English, whether we are interacting in English or with our native language. But whatever the language we use, that should be civilized. Now, the first things that I showed you, and there is the abstractical view of the using of English students. Right? When we teach, we thought that we are giving our best, but as long as we will not feel as a students, we could not analyze ourselves that how perfect I am, how much students are getting, and everything. So that is all about that the command over the language. The third thing is the communication skills. As we know that communication skills is one of the things which requires everywhere, either in any professions. But especially when we are talking about the teaching segments, this is one of the, this is one of the professions where without communication skills, never we can be a good teacher. So, before understand this, first of all, just try to understand that what is this actually communication skills. Communication skills is all about how good we are in expressing and how well we are in understanding. It means that how good we have to express the things that has given in the books or the thoughts that we are having in front of the students, and whatever they said, how well we are understanding. Now we might come across with the situations in which what happens that the students, when the students say something, we say like, what did you say? Sorry, I didn't hear. No, sorry, I didn't understand your question. So somewhere, those are the symbols. There you need to be rectify yourself that somewhere you are lacking with your communication skills. Somewhere it's okay. Might be the situations that the students are not able to make you understand that what is their question. But being a teacher, that is our responsibility, that even if he's not trying to interpret the things, whatever means in an appropriate way, but we have to catch them, with our intelligence, with our experience, that what they want to say actually. Right? So after, thinking all this, we can understand that communication skills is one of the good things, one of the very prominent things that our teachers should have. Now, how we can improve our communication skills? This is also one of the matter here. So communication skills could be improved only by interacting with the different peoples, and rather than to speaking, we need to be focused more to be listening. Just because that as long as we do not have the good input, we cannot give the better output, right? So this is all about the communication skills. The next point that I would like to address here before you is we must have the discipline and a good attitude, right? So what happens once you entered in the class, your every steps, right? Your every steps, how you walk, how you speak, how you teach, everything is analyzed by the students. So that is why we need to maintain the proper discipline. And I am telling you that if two things you are having, then nobody can questioning you on your discipline actually. On this context, and these two things I already address here is to command over the subject, command over the language. These two things every time leads you with the discipline that we want as a teacher. So what happens for an instance, suppose like if we enter in the class and we got a call, right, in the cell phone ring, we pick the call in between the class. Then what will happen? Once our phone rings, then we can understand that, the concentration of the students and the teachers as well as both can break simultaneously. Thereafter what happens? We pick the call. So in that particular moment, what happens? That the connection between the students and teacher could be break. And it leads you, then it means that you are allowed students to think something else rather than the topics that we are teaching there or the things that we would like to explain to them. So these are the basic things that we need to be understand, that we must have the proper discipline. We have to be disciplined there in the class. Now the attitude. So what is here actually the meanings of attitude in teaching professions? It means that we have to always keep the positive things, positive thoughts about the students. For instance, I would like to tell you, suppose if you are teaching something there in the class, right, and two serious students, they are actually a good students and they are talking to each other. And you know very well that you are teaching very good in the class, even if they are talking. Now the two kinds of case could be raised here. First of all, you tell them to stand up and start, scolding them. That I am explaining here, what are you doing, what you are talking about. Rather than to asking them politely that what you have problems. There might be the situations, the things that you are explaining over there that they are not getting. That is why they got frightened to you by your nature, by your character. So that is why they are not asking to you. But you did not know the actual reasons of that and you scold them. So that is actually called the negative attitude. How we would have the positive attitude? We can tell them very straightforwardly, very sweetly, that you stand up please. And just ask that what you have a problem in these topics. Let me ensure you that if a student is having actual problems on that topic, they will tell you. Because on that moment, they are frightened, their everything gets over from you. So that is why we must have the positive attitude towards the student. And there is something that I would like to tell you, that being a teacher, we must have the quality to just look at the things from the different point of view. Just try to look at the things from the different point of view. Just because we are a teacher, we have our own way to look at the things, to demonstrate the things, to understanding the things. Right? Apart from all this, there is some more points that I would like to address here. That we have to use our sense of humor when we teach the student. Now what is the meaning of this and what it puts the impact amongst the class or amongst the student? This term, a sense of a humor. So I'm telling you that in order to make the environment lighter, in order to make them smile, the students, we have to use our sense of a humor. So what I mean to say here, it's not mean that in order to make the environment lighter in the class or in order to give them opportunity to smile or a laugh, it means not that we crack some jokes like a Santa and Banda or something else. It means that we have to use are simple tools, simple things. We have to be good at orator. For an example, what happens that in the earlier days of my teaching, when I started my teaching career only. So one day what happens that I was taking the attendance, right, and I was taking attendance, and I don't know whether unconsciously or deliberately, but one voice, when their attendance comes, he said that yes ma'am, present ma'am, and entire class start laughing. So that boy, I could hear that, is a boy. He said that, yes ma'am, while I take the attendance. And, in that moment, this entire class start laughing, And what did I do? What do I did there? Then I just, raise up my, and I just asked, who is he? Just because I know that he was a boy. And he said to me that, yes ma'am. And I said that, who is he? And that moment again, entire class laughing at them, and the environment becomes lighter there. Then another examples, I would like to share with you here. Recent examples that what happens that in every class, we have got a one or two bit fatter student. So what happens that once the one student they were a little fat. So what happens that whomever the student sit with them in the class, they just complain. Sir, I'm not getting enough space there to sit. So every day they complain to me. So what I did, one day I just called that fat one student. I just tell to stand up, and I said, with a smiling face, that it's okay, you are having problems, to manage, but it's not mean that you are covering the space of a two student. And entire class becomes, environment becomes lighter. And in the very next moment, I say that it's okay, I can understand your problem. So you can cover the space of 1.5 student, but you are not able to cover 2 students' space. So what I mean to say that we have to use our sense of humor, means how a student is reacting with us, what they are actually telling. Out of that, we have to reply such a way so that students did not feel offended, and at the same time they enjoyed a lot. They think that okay, at least I got some free space, at least I got an opportunity to relax our mind. And this can be happens only by this, the things I said, that we have to use our sense of humor. And how this, what I believe personally, that sense of humor is one of the things that could not build up easily. It's not like learnable skills. But what I experience, that it's totally depend on your mindset. If you are tension free, if you do not have any anxieties, if you are not have any anxiousness, then of course your mind is active, and then only you can use of that particular things which I said here, the sense of humor. Now the second, thereafter, the next point that I would like to address here, that we must have to think about our professional appearance, right? Because appearance matters a lot for the teachers, and it always puts the good impact to the students as well. Because if we are not maintaining ourselves, we will not maintain our physical appearance. Till now, we are not able to say something to the students. What happens in the assembly? Often, what happens in the assembly, that we check the nail of the students, we check their haircuts, and at the same time, if we are not having the proper professional appearance, what we will think in ourselves? I'm telling you that we think in ourselves, like we got a feelings of alienations, right? That we are not in appropriate way, and we are telling to others. So professional appearance is matter a lot. Professional appearance neither be attractive nor be destructive. It means that we have to be, wear the clothes as simple as possible, so that this could not be attract to the students or not to be the destruct to the students. That should be not that should be very clean. For example, if your clothes is not, our clothes is not very clean, then what could be happens? It always puts the negative impact, to the students, and as well as we are not getting the confidence So of course we have to think about our dressing sense as well, right? Dressing sense, and we have to think about our hairstyle. We have to think about like savings and all. Means everything should be proper. Then only we can knock the students, and they will also do. They will also follow our voice and whatever the instructions we will give. Now the next point that I would like to address in front of you is our teaching style. So every teachers have their own way to teaching the things, but I would like to share that few of the things that you should add in your teachings. Believe me that it gives the unique impact, a profound impact with you in form of a teachers. Now what is I meaning to say here the teaching styles? Once you entered in the class, as I first said you that the first thing that you must have the command over your subject. Now once you entered in the class, first of all you write the topics there on the board, and what are the topics that you are going to teach that you have to write over that. And very next day when you comes there, first of all you have to write the topics that you have already taught there, and thereafter the possibility of the topic. The topic which is possible there, that also you have to be mentioned over there. That okay, these topics that we have already discussed, now I am just giving you 4 to 5 minutes, everybody just revise of these topics, and today probably we are going to discuss this and this topic. Now there is some of my personal suggestions that I would like to share with you as well. Just trying to touch the books as less as possible, except the subjects like mathematics, just because we know the fact that we cannot teach the students, especially maths, without touching the books. Because what is my personal sense and personal thinkings, personal beliefs, that once you touch the books in front of the students, somewhere your morals could be down. And of course, if your preparation is very good, if your preparation is very strong, if you see the topics that you have to explain, then I think that a little more effort you have to put in yourself is just to remember the topic's name as well. For example, if you know that tomorrow we have to explain the photosynthesis, and we know what is photosynthesis, how I have to explain, then I don't think that you need to be put a more effort to just remember this word of photosynthesis. This word just allow you did not touch the books in the class. Just because why I am also telling you that once you see the books, I'm telling you, once you see the books, I'm not telling that you should not see the books. Of course, once you have to look the questions, once you have to look the topics or books you can carry, but trying to touch as less as possible. That mainly I would like to tell you here. But what happens that once you take the books and they start explaining line by line something, then once you get indulged with the books, what the students think? Again, they allowed the students to disconnect with you. While you didn't see the books, while you see the books, the student also see the books. And the more importantly what? That if you explain something from the books, so two things the student has to do simultaneously. First task for them is to listen you, what you are explaining, and second task is what? They have to look in the books as well. And you will see that most of the intelligent student has done the same. But my question is for them, that is this possible for our students that they focused on the two things simultaneously? This is not possible. Basically, I would like to share that my way of the teachings, that what I do usually in the class. First of all, when I explain the topics, I didn't allow students even to touch the books. I just said that whatever I am saying, just listen me, and once I finished my topics, thereafter, means even I didn't allow them to ask the problems in between the topics. Just because we know if we allowed, many students will say, sir, what is this? What did you say about this right now? So that might be a problem, just because we are not like a computers. We also have to work, we also have to think, we also have a plan to execute over there. And if simultaneously somebody knocked, many times, it disturbs us. So that is why what I did basically, I said that okay, this is a topic that I am going to explain right now. You guys have to listen me here. Your focus should be on me here, on my voice here. And even if after finishing the topic, if you guys are having any issues or problems, then you can ask to me in the later part, right? Means by the end. So in this way, what happens that once they listen me, thereafter they study, right? They just study the same things in the books. So they are able to paying attention at me as well. Once they go at home, they are studying it, and once they understand the things that I already explained in the class, if the same things they gone through at the home, they understand it more profoundly, right? So these are the things. But meanwhile, I would like to say that every teacher has their own way to teachings, right? And I just shared my opinion, and it can be a differ from the teachers to teachers, right? Now, apart from all this, I would like to give you, a few more things that need to be added with the teachings. The another point I would like to address here is the motivations, right? Motivation must be required to teachers so that students can get the interest in the teachings. In order to tie the students with the interest, we need to motivate them. So what happens usually whenever we conduct the oral test, in the class? So what happens there, that we ask the students according to their intelligence. If we understand, okay, this one is little weaker or average student or a below average, I ask according to their talent. Why? That if they are able to give the answer, they got the positive sensation in itself, and we can also just we can also support them that you are doing very good. Now we just trying to recall our times when we were the students, we were in a childhood. What happens once the teachers had given something a work, we did it, and thereafter if the teachers just write a very good, excellent, means an entire page has written with the blue pen, and if the one word we have seen with the red pen, that is even just a word good, we becomes exhilarate, and same goes to the students as well. That once they see their the comments like excellent or a very good or a good, they really becomes excited. They shows to their parent as well that look, mama or a father, I have got this, I got this compliment in the class. And as well as we have to motivate junior students time to time, so that they get indulged with the educations. We have to conduct sometimes the quiz contest. So what happens in a quiz contest, that once we organize a quiz contest, the team they have won in a one day, right? Team A, suppose they becomes win in a one day, then another day the team B, those who gets defeat on that day, they comes with the more power, more preparations. Why? Just because they feel alienated on that day when they lost the quiz contest and anything. And in the very next day, they comes with the more strong preparations and just imagine about the situations. And the next day when the team B gets win, that in this quiz and all. So that actually these are the things which motivates the students. And as long as in your teachings also, sometimes rather than to teach the things that is given in the books, sometimes we need to counseling the students about their problems, and after listening them, we just have to give the resolutions of their problems, right? So motivations is one of the indispensable part of the teachings that we have to add in our skills. Now the last, probably but not least, the things that I would like to address here is conduct the different kinds of activity amongst the students. Let me give you a simple example. Just because we are a teacher is the role model for the students. So what happens that if suppose students, their favorite teachers are you just think about every individual here, and let's suppose that they are having their lunch during a break, and in a very polite way you go and sit beside them. Then the sensations they have got, the teachers that they are saying that in front of them, they are teaching they feel exhilarate after the things that they have got from that teacher. That particular teacher is sit with them, I'm telling you, that they becomes very blind in itself. Suppose that if they are playing outside like badmintons or a cricket or something, so of course, if you go there, so they will only tell you, sir, why don't you try once? And if you try, we get indulged with them. So of course, they becomes very pleasure in itself. So that is why it's very necessities to conduct the different kinds of the activity for the different students, right? So that these were the few of the things that we need to add in our teachings. Now again, I would like to take you on the beginning of these sessions. When I just tell you about, you had to imagine about the situations where our teachers were explaining the things, and in a one side few students were talking, in a one side few students were fighting, in a one side few students were talking. So, and I said you that what will happen next, that we will conclude in the last. So what I would like to say by all this, that the methodology that I explained here, that the methodology that we discuss here, if that teacher is indulged all these things, they add all this activity in them, then how their class could be, how their class could be performed in a very next day. Of course, we will see that every student sit at their place. Why? Just because that, she manage the things, she add those skills in itself. And we will see that all the students are keep quiet, they are listening them, she is giving their lecture, he or she is giving their lectures, and all the students are listening them. Well, as we know that human in itself is agathopathological. It means that the things which has composed by both the things, good or the evils, and neither teachers are impeccables. So improving is the sustainable process. Improvement is the sustainable process. So of course, after thinking about all these points, the topics, and might be that you are also have some topics or some points by which that we add them and we can enhance our skills. So of course, these are the things when we add in our teachings, it actually helps us to mold ourselves to the base version of the teacher, right? So thank you. That was from my side totally. And if any teachers has to give their own advice, something, what are the points that we can add here, in our teachings, they are most welcome. If on either side, from this side or this side, if any teachers would like to give their advice or something, so they are most welcome. And that's it from my side.